Hello folks, welcome to my YouTube channel, Watercolor Impressions. We are going to take a reference from one of my travels, which is Oakville Rocks, located at New Brunswick. And this is one of the most amazing places I have been. Before you go, hit the subscribe button so you guys can get weekly video updates from our channel. And let's get started, guys. I highly recommend people to go and check out this provincial park, Oakville Rocks, which is located in New Brunswick, and it's one of the most amazing places. And you could see the rocks, and it's not filled with water now, but in the morning the water get filled till the green line, which we can see in the reference. So when you approach a landscape like this, the first thing we have to keep in mind is how we have to space out our landscape. So I'm spacing out in a such way that I put the horizon in 1:3, and it's a good compositional spacing. I was thinking to bring the horizon line below the rocks, but it wouldn't make as a half and half, and it's quite boring, and it's symmetrical. So one thing you have to keep in mind whenever you paint things asymmetrical, and that is pleasing to eyes, and it's a designing theory as well. So you can see I quickly blocked in the sky and with Cobalt Blue, and at the bottom I used a little bit of French Ultramarine Blue, and for the trees I used Cadmium Yellow. And I'm doing this wash as a one blending wash. And one of the trickiest thing about this subject, and I did find quite challenging, because I am a cityscape artist. I'm really comfortable with painting cityscapes. I could paint any kind of complex cityscapes really easily. Whereas when it comes to landscapes, and Mother Nature provides a lot of shapes and varieties and a lot of colors. And it's really hard to simplify until you have really a vast knowledge of experience how to simplifying a scene and painting it. So this comes from painting a lot outside, and I didn't paint that much of landscapes in my career yet, but it is there. So when we approach this kind of subjects, think everything as a shape. This thing helps to simplify the subjects in our simplest forms. You could see whenever I block something, I don't think about it. I see a shape, what shape is it, I just quickly block it in. And since I did our first wash, it's gonna act as a lighting for us. So now I'm adding the mid-tone for the trees at the top. So I'm adding the trees at the top because that also helps to blend the shadows on our rocks as well. And if you see the rocks, there's a lot of things happening, and there's a lot of colors in our reference. So if you squint your eyes and if you closely look at it, most of the colors are gray. So we have to make it a little bit vibrant so that we are expressing our way. And I also noticed in my work, whenever I do landscapes, sometimes it become too vibrant or too dull. So I want to find that point, and I want to keep it in a grayish area, and there's a little bit of colors in it as well. So that's one of the challenging part you might encounter when you paint. But think everything as one single shape. You could see the shadow I did as one single shape and as one color, but I did put a little bit of blue here and there just to have a little bit of color variations. And I'm also using a wet on wet technique, and before it dries out, I'm adding a little bit of darker colors at the edge of the rock, so it gives a form of a roundness in our rocks. And now I'm focusing on the two rocks, and I will combine it. It's the same thing. I will just do the shadow of the rocks as fast as I can, thinking everything as a shape, and putting some blues here and there just to have a little bit of color variations. If you have a single shape, try to have a little bit of color variation, because it kills the monotonous in our painting. And you can see where this trees are sitting, I'm also putting a little bit of blue and a dark French Ultramarine Blue there. So that also helps to add a little bit of color variation, and it also anchors the trees on the top of the rocks. And the other two rocks, I don't care about that much. The three rocks, which is in the middle on the right hand quadrant, is my focal point. And you can see I'm adding that green moss, which is deposited at the bottom. So this is during around 1 or 2 o'clock when we are there. So what happens is during the night, the water fills up to that green moss and sometimes even higher. and people kayak to go around these rocks to check it out. And this is one of the coolest places I have been, and I was mind blown. I wish I'd stayed longer to see the water coming in and hugging the rocks, but I didn't have time. So but I able to memorize this place, and I wish I should be able to paint, but I couldn't because of the time constraints. But I did grab the reference, and I was standing there for a while and seeing these rocks, and I was thinking how to approach this scene in my watercolors. So whenever you paint, you think how you're gonna paint in your head, and when you do it, you won't get exactly what you're trying to express. But in watercolors works that way. It doesn't give whatever exactly you want, and it also gives a lot of this little surprises, and it also, that fluidity gives that expression of creativity while you paint. And that's why I mainly paint on watercolors. And when painting, don't scare about approaching a subject like this, because when I started painting, a landscape scares me. So, but I usually have some faith, and I'll keep going till the end result. And the other thing, I also give a lot of people ask to start with watercolors. They're scared of watercolors because everything runs everywhere, and I would say that let watercolor does what it does. Even though I'm talking about the landscape painting, it is necessary when you approach a landscape painting is to not think about your final product. Whatever comes, it's fine, and just keep going until you put the shadow and the light in your scene. That's when the whole scene comes alive. I usually give up as soon as I put the light and shadows. It will tell me that if the painting worked or not. And most of the time, it saves your painting just by adding the light and shadows. And I'm also adding figures in my scene. I was thinking, is there a way I want to take them into the painting? And I was trying to create the Z or the S curve to bring them into the painting. And you can see in few hours, I'll be able to finish this painting in a quick, confident way. And I don't try to dabble in my painting. I try to be paint as fast as I can, because that doesn't help you to think that much and enjoy your painting process. And there are a lot of this wetness in that sand. It's really hard to achieve in watercolors. And what I do is I put a white paint and I try to rub it off. So I did add the white paint and it became dull, and I went and painted after as well. So there's one thing I do once I finish my painting, I just put it aside, because you are constantly comparing your painting with the reference, and you will lose all the time when you compare your painting with the reference, because it's really hard to copy Mother Nature as it is. And as an artist, you also have to express your painting in your own way, and that's when you develop your own style or originality as well. So now it's your turn. Take one of my reference from my website. You can download it and you can follow the tutorial, or else you can take your own reference, which you're really scared of doing it, and take it and apply the principles of what I've showed you, and let's see what you can come up with. Thanks again for watching this landscape painting tutorial. Please feel free to share your thoughts in the video in the comment section below. If you have any other topics related to watercolors that you would like me to cover, please reach out to me at watercolorimpressions@gmail.com or leave a comment down below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for weekly uploads, and share with your fellow artists, friends and family. And good luck with your painting, folks.